right. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here at the GSL. Welcome back to the Team League. This is going to be the consolation match between FXO and ZeNEX. I am Moletrap. With me here is Kaldor. How are you doing today, Kaldor?
Oh, I'm doing really good today. And I'm looking forward to today's matches. We have FXO against ZeNEX, as Moletrap already mentioned, and this should be a good one. We're actually looking forward to our first match, especially to the first player for FXO, because we have Lucky, ladies and gentlemen, and he's up against ZeNEX Sparta. So the first game today will be Zerg versus Terran.
Yes, it will indeed. And here at the GSL today, we're having all kinds of fun with languages. We were talking about Kaldor's Korean lessons earlier. We were discussing some Korean numbers with FXO Slog. For those of you who don't know, Korean actually has two number systems. One that's pure Korean and one that's Sino-Korean. That's kind of a, I'm not exactly sure actually, but I think it's adapted from the Chinese number system or something along those lines. And they use them in different situations. So like if you're talking about the time, you say the hours in you say the hours in the Chinese system and then you say the minutes in the Korean. It's kind of weird. Anyway, let's take a look at these two teams right here. Neither team has done terribly well in the Team League in the past. You can see 3-7 record for FXO, which is a little bit surprising, just thinking about some of the players they have on their team. And ZeNEX, of course, 2-8, which unfortunately I have to say is not as surprising. ZeNEX has just lost all their good players over the last 6 months, except for a couple who are not too terribly well known, but they're still pretty decent. So,
yeah, the last clan war against OGS was a lot closer than I actually expected, and this was thanks to one player. It was ZeNEX Extreme.
Yeah,
he did very well, and he was especially good in his matchup against Terran, which proved to be quite a problem for OGS. But in the end, they were able to defeat him. They took the clan war, and therefore we have ZeNEX now facing FXO. FXO losing to Slayers, with a 5-3 in the first clan war. So they are really pumped for today. They want to win. They want to show everyone that they are able to take this clan war and therefore advance in the current bracket. And yeah, they send out Lucky first, which is definitely one of their stronger players, not the strongest. We have a really good lineup for FXO, obviously, with players like Lenok, like Oz. So this is going to be a pretty good one. And they have a pretty good Terran as well with Gumiho. So
yeah,
a lot of KOS players and a lot of diversity.
Yep, ASD as well is a pretty decent Terran player. And here they come. Winner prediction, look at this. FXO favored 83.7% to win by you guys, the fans. Remember, you can always go to the live page and click who you think is going to be the winner in the prediction area there. And you know what? That's about the chances I'd give them too, to be completely honest with you. FXO has so many good players right now, and they did manage to lose to Slayers last week, but I think they're going to be able to triumph today.
Yeah, I have to say that FXO is definitely the favorite team, and the only reason, the only chance that I see for ZeNEX is if players like Extreme, like Live, can really step up their game, can win a couple of matches. Don't get me wrong, they have a couple of players that are capable of taking a game or two, but if you just compare the lineups and have a look at the FXO lineup, then they really have to hope that the FXO guys are a little bit under the weather today.
Yeah, under the weather.
I don't know what you're laughing about.
No, we were talking about, I was said we have fun with language today. We were talking about German phrases and English colloquialisms earlier, and we're going to check out the FXO lineup. What was it that you said earlier? Down the wind? You said you were feeling down the wind, right?
That is Oz, by the way. I'll completely ignore that. We have FXO.
I'm not trying to make fun of you. Anyway, there's ASD.
I just tried to apply some German and find out if the same expression exists in English, and it does not.
I legitimately think it's fun and interesting how the phrases, when they're translated to other languages, sort of come out differently. Like we have the term under the weather. That's similar, but anyway, there's Lenok. He's the cleanup for FXO, that's for sure, and only a couple players on FXO that we don't know too much about, like Tier and XD.
He just joined the team.
Whale says to scratch his nose for his introduction.
The first time I've seen Whale was at the WCG, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And XD is iMaster.
iMaster?
Yeah, that's XD. He just joined the team recently. I talked to Slog about it a bit because I talked to him earlier, to Master, to XD that is, and I was actually surprised because his English is really, really good. We talked about Lucky going to Assembly at the end of the month, and yeah, that should be a pretty good one. They have a very, very strong lineup. Nice race distribution as well, as you could see in the graphics just a second ago. So yeah, let's see what they are up to today. And yeah, you tweeted a pretty funny picture. We had Oz joining us at the caster booth earlier, so the new casting Archon is formed. It is Caldos.
Caldos.
It sounds a little bit Spanish.
That'd be a good combo. Alright, here we go. The ZeNEX lineup. Suho Shin definitely wants to shoot you in the face. ZeNEX Sparta is going to be leading off today.
Exactly, the Terran player for the team. We have Jejun, another Terran in the ZeNEX lineup. And the next player you see is Cutter.
He doesn't want to do anything, he's just going to stand there. ZeNEX Stream,
he's certainly
my new favorite player.
Yeah, he is pretty good. And we have Avenge, who also took a game from OGS last week.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird game though. And Young Song-yi. And Life is very good as well. Well, he can be. He's not super high level yet, but he's a very strong player for ZeNEX. And ZeNEX Pet, we haven't really seen much out of.
Yeah, compared to the FXO bench, I have to say that the players sitting on the ZeNEX bench, well, not that many in numbers, so a little bit more space for every single one of them. Race distribution, about even as you can see, 3 Protoss, 3 Terran and 3 Zerg. It's gonna be a really, really interesting day for them. They have to play on, they have to be on top of the game if they want to take this time one, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're actually going to have to be above their game if they're going to take the Clan War today because, like I said, I mean, we were talking about earlier, ZeNEX, they've got a lot of up-and-coming players on there, but they've lost a lot of their talent, and FXO just has so many good players on him.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, Leenock is definitely one of the top 3 Zergs in the world, easily. And, you know, they've got Oz, I would say probably one of the top 5 Protoss players right now. A little bit unpolished, but anyway, they've got some really good players, and there's Lucky, who is also an extremely strong Zerg player. Look at that, ranking 83, he is in Code S. And I talked to Lino earlier, and I asked him if he wants to play today, and he gave me the same answer that Oz gave us. He was like, no, I'm not going to play today. And yeah.
Why is that? Yeah, well, it's simple, because Lucky is going for the Orc kill. So we'll see if Lucky is able to achieve it. He certainly is aiming for one, but I have to say that that is maybe a little bit presumptuous. So there are a lot of players in the lineup for ZeNEX that can take a game, and obviously the FXO players were joking a little bit as well. So let's see if Lucky can actually live up to the expectations and take down
He's capable of it. Yeah, he's actually capable of it.
But with the play that we've seen lately from players like Extreme, Live showed really good results at the Iron Squid qualifier, for example. We can definitely expect some good games from them, and I'm not sure if the ZeNEX team is really the pushover that a lot of people believe them to be.
Wait, what qualifier?
I think it was the Iron Squid qualifier that he won.
Iron Squid?
Yes. That's a tournament in France with 25,000 bucks on the line.
Somehow I hadn't heard of that, and that's a funny name for a tournament. So.
Yeah, it kind of is. They have a pretty cool logo. I casted the second qualifier. The first one was won by... Oh god, don't let me lie. I actually forgot. By Symbol. The first one was won by Symbol, the second one by Live, and Live had to defeat players like Bomber, for example.
Interesting.
That was pretty good. It was a really nice promo. It was really interesting.
I just like the name, that's all.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
And here we have our matchup. FXO Lucky on the left. You want to practice your Hangul and their Korean names?
I already started reading it, and that happens to me a lot lately. Since I started taking the classes, every single time I'm somewhere and I'm trying to read Hangul, even if I don't know what the word means, so at least I'm able to pronounce it a little bit. Not 100% yet, but still. And it's kind of funny talking about languages. I told you earlier, I'm in a class with 11 people. I'm the only dude. I'm the only guy from Europe. All the other people in my class are Japanese girls, which is really funny. And of course, the teachers speak Japanese as well. So most of the time, I'm just sitting at the sideline. I'm like, yeah, well, are you talking Korean right now, or is that Japanese? Well. Anyways, we're heading into the first game, ladies and gentlemen. ZeNEX against FXOpen. We have Sparta against Lucky.
All right, and up here in the top right, his team expects him to get an all kill. Can he live up to it? If he does, he'll have to be
FXO Lucky!
I'm not gonna give you any pros for this one. It is way too easy. That's way too easy. Sorry.
All right.
But you'll get your chances.
Yes. Well,
As will.
oh, hey, came all the way from California. Awesome. I'm from California. Oh, props to them.
I didn't know that.
All right. Well, if he does get an all kill, that would be pretty much madness, I would say. Or is it madness? No, this isn't madness. This is
ZeNEX Sparta!
Yeah, there you go. Very smooth. I like
Thank you.
it. Very
Thank you.
smooth. We are on dual side, ladies and gentlemen, in this first game of today's GSTL Clan War. We have Zerg versus Terran, and dual side is obviously a pretty good map for this matchup. I actually kind of like it a lot. And the problem for the Zerg player is, once again, taking the third base, which is a little bit exposed if the Terran player is going for 2 base or 1 base timing attack. So we'll see what Sparta has up its sleeve. So far he didn't take any gas at all. He'll probably start with the gas as expansion therefore. And for FXOpen Lucky, we have the 15 hatch, and he's now building additional drones. He's getting gas first. He scouted his opponent's main base. He's just now looking if there's a second barracks hidden, so that he knows if he has to prepare against a double barracks play. But he still doesn't build a spawning pool, so he plays pretty greedy right now. But he can certainly pull it off against the build that Sparta is using in the early game.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Yeah, especially since he scouted that, he knew it was fine to go for, looked like gas pool on 16. So that's a nice build. You know, you get a decent amount of drones in there. Usually your hatchery pops about the same time as your spawning pool, so that you can get both your queens going. But we are going to see a little bit of bunker pressure, and this is just to throw him off, just to try and scare him into pulling some drones. He's not going to be going for too much of an attack. Of course, you do have to take this seriously, because if you don't, we've seen in the past where they're like, Zergs are like, oh, well, this isn't a serious bunker push. I'm going to ignore it. And then the bunker finishes, and they're like, oh, wait, crap. But that Marine is not going to be able to do anything too much. Spawning pool's about to complete.
He might try to build another bunker, but to be honest, there's nothing he can do. The queens are already being built. We have Zerglings not on the way just yet. He doesn't even bother building a single pair because he realized that his opponent can't put any pressure. 2 queens are now being built, and well, he's used an extractor trick once again in order to go to the oversupply. So just building additional overlords, stop mining gas, focusing completely on drones and his metabolic boost. So Lucky is certainly looking pretty good in the early game. He has 17 to 19 harvesters so far. We have the expansion now being built for ZeNEX Sparta as well. He's even building a bunker in order to be ready, but I'm not quite sure against what. He didn't scout again. So, well, there might be a couple of Zerglings being built for Lucky, but in the end, he's playing really, really safe right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in the fact that he's not really... Okay, there's the factory now, but the factory is a little bit later than you'd expect. I guess he just... Usually you either see the factory and reactor and then the command center, or you see the command center and then, you know... I don't know, I'm just saying he's kind of delaying that factory a little bit. So he's forced to put up the bunker just in case of any early attacks, because he doesn't quite have those Hellions out yet. He doesn't have that map control just yet. So he's kind of ceding the early map control to our FXO player Lucky, and he's going to try and take it back in the mid-game.
The big problem for Sparta is that he is really, really passive right now. It will take quite a while until he has the first Hellions in position. He's now following it up with barracks as well. But Lucky has so much time now to drone up, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's already at 30 harvesters. He's still continuing to build new drones, and we're having with 2 spying crawlers just to be on the safe side. But there's just nothing that Sparta can do right now. And it will take, as I said, it will take ages until he can start with an attack, and I'm not quite sure if I like the build that he uses. As you already mentioned, he's a little bit too late with everything now. He's adding the first...
Oh, wow.
He's adding the first 2 reactors. He has already 1 tech lab in order to get stim. There it is. And the third base, nope, actually not the third base. He's going for a macro hatch. Lucky now with 38 harvesters and still droning up. He has all the time in the world.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're probably going to see Sparta go for a big timing attack of some kind. He's probably going to go... I mean, we've got 2 reactors about to finish on the barracks. He's going to have quintuple production of Marines, or he could make some Marauders too, I guess. He's going to have double production of Hellions. He's just going to be pumping out a ton of units and probably go for a big attack off of these 2 bases is what I'm thinking. Maybe trying to time it along with when Lucky's going to get his third, or, you know, when his tech is about to come into play. There's the lair right now. So it's going to be a really strong attack in about, 2 or 3 minutes coming from Sparta. And actually now he builds the starport. So maybe he's going to go for a longer game after all.
Yeah, I doubt that they will see attack by not a serious attack by Sparta within the next few minutes, because right now he is just building a couple of Marines, and at this time there's so much that Lucky already has to counter Marines, but he's building up a nice composition. He has the second factory right now. Sorry, he has the factory equipped with the tech lab now. That's it. So I guess we will see him going for tanks and tanks, medevac, Marine. We already have the Baneling Nest, layers halfway done. The creep spread is looking pretty awesome for Lucky. He's doing really well. Will take a third eventually, and yeah, I don't know. Very passive game by Sparta, and well, that gives Lucky just the opportunity to do whatever he wants.
Yep, I'm a little surprised he hasn't taken a third yet, to be honest, but he is just teching up. He's a little bit worried about some kind of an attack coming out. So we see him getting his lair. As soon as the lair finishes, the Baneling Nest is going to finish shortly after. Probably going to see him get Baneling speed. There you go, immediately. And yeah, just kind of teching up, and he doesn't... I mean, we're probably going to see him get a third base before too long, but in the meantime, he's been a little bit worried about doing that. He's just been trying to get something to defend against this big push that he might see coming.
We have Sparta now already with the command center, and Lucky hitting tier 2. He's going straight for the upgrades. Bavaro as well as the Baneling speed. He's going for the Spire right now. And finally we have Sparta poking a little bit around the edges of the creep, but he's not scanning. He's not using scans in order to kill the creep tumors, which I think is a little bit odd, to be honest. He should at least try to kill the active ones in order to prevent his opponent from spreading his creep even further. But I think that we will see a third base coming up very, very soon for Lucky. If he doesn't want to just go for an attack, but I doubt it. None on 2 bases. He should definitely follow it up, even though he's building a lot of Zerglings right now. He already has 57. He's building additional ones. He has some gas mined and saved up, so he can build Mutalisks as soon as his Spire is ready. And still, ZeNEX Sparta not really moving out. He has built the first tanks just now. He still has to wait for his combat shield, and +1/+1 is lined up, which I like. But very, very passive game. A little bit unusual for Zergos' turn.
Yeah, very passive indeed. Usually we at least see drops from the Terran player, but he hasn't even been trying to do any drops or anything like that, which is very strange considering the fact that, of course, mutas aren't out yet. Drops could easily do some damage, so maybe a little bit of a mistake by Sparta to be so passive that he just sits in his base for 10 minutes.
Oh, it's definitely a mistake, and he didn't even prevent the creep spread. He didn't even try to. So as soon as he moves on to creep, those Marines are in a lot of trouble, because Lucky can't just connect with the Banelings. And he only has 2 siege tanks so far. The Mutalisks are already on their way, 9 of them. They will try to circle the army of the Terran player and snipe off the tanks, and with a tank count that low, he can't really defend or attack. He can't do anything at all.
Doing?
If Lucky splits his forces and tries to open like 2 fronts, there's not a lot that Sparta will be able to do. He's taking the third base right now, and I would be surprised if Lucky would not try to put on some pressure on his opponent now that his army is thinned out, because he has to defend 3 bases.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, Sparta only has like 3 tanks on the map. One of them is sitting over here at the right side of the map, doing nothing. If he does go in for an attack, he's not going to have the defenses to hold off that many Lings and Banelings. You need at least a few more tanks for the amount of Banelings he's going to be able to have very soon.
We have 77 drones now against 55, so very decent lead. And, well, as you already mentioned, there are units scattered across the map for Sparta that he apparently forgot about. And with the Hellions finally trying to take some drones on, but, well, there's nothing you can do. The Hellions get immediately cleared by Lucky's units, and I have to say that I don't like Sparta's play right now. It's way too passive. He doesn't achieve anything. He apparently wants to max out his army. He's getting the armory right now. Way too late. He can't line up the +2/+2 attack upgrades with finishing 1-1. But, well, It's just a little bit odd. Lucky even burrowing Banelings right now, so he lays a couple of traps. He might try to lure his opponent into walking into the Banelings. He's getting a 4th base, spreading his creep towards the bottom right, and well, he just can do whatever he wants to because, well, ZeNEX Sparta's just sitting there and waiting for something to happen.
He finally found that tank in the bottom right. He's going to bring it back over. Yeah, I mean, Sparta, he at least secured his 3rd base. He's just trying to gear up for, you know, the late game. I guess he's like no rush 15, okay? And Lucky was like, sure, that's fine, because Lucky wasn't really too terribly aggressive either. There was no way he could be, but finally a drop coming at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, but that drop won't do anything at all because Lucky has a very nice Overlord spread. There are 2 Overlords hovering at the right side of the map that already saw the drop, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Mutalisks would head that direction very, very soon. Oh, he actually missed it. He really missed the drop? That's strange.
Where did the drop go? Oh, here's the counterattack, though, coming into the 3rd wall. Sparta's army is up in the top left of the map, and he's bringing half of his army down to deal with it and sending the other half up to take out the top right base. A very smart move. Needs to make sure he actually splits, though. He's going to lose that base.
We have the drop in the main base right now. He just dropped, and at the top left, we also have another attack by ZeNEX Sparta, but he lost his 3rd, and that's exactly because of the fact that I mentioned earlier. His army is just too spread out. He can't do anything about it. That drop in the main base doesn't accomplish anything because he only focuses down the extractors. That is, of course, a little bit helpful when it comes down to taking the gas from your opponent, but it could have dealt a lot more damage to the economy of Lucky if he would have focused the drones or even attacked his tech. Now the next drop is being taken down, and suddenly Lucky is ahead with 60 supply, is on 3 base against 2. And this is exactly the problem that I was mentioning. With the units spread out so far across the map, ZeNEX Sparta could not defend his 3rd base, and Lucky is just now in a commanding lead, maxed out, getting more and more units and going in for the kill.
Catches it partly on siege. The other tanks are sieged up, but are they going to be enough to deal with those Banelings? No, they will not, and there's just not enough Marines left. After losing so many of the Banelings before, now he decides to clear out the creeps bed now that Lucky has creep all over the map, which, by the way, led to some mobility. There's the GG! Lucky has taken out 1 opponent, and FXO is going to go up 1-0.
Yeah, let's be honest about it. It was a very anticlimactic start into this clan war. And, well, at the end, Sparta tried to drop again. He headed into the main base. And here we have Lenok and Lucky, the 2 Zerg players. Lucky is apparently pretty happy about it, but this was, let's be honest about it, this was an easy one.
Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, I mean, let's just face it, Sparta is at a level 1 or 2 steps below where Lucky is. Lucky is Code S and Sparta is Code B.
I tried to dig up a couple of information about Sparta before we head into the game, but the problem is that he didn't make that many experiences just yet, especially against Zerga. I couldn't actually find a single game that he won against Zerga. Found 2 that he lost in one of the ESV weeklies, but that's all there was to it, and he lost both of the games, as I already mentioned. I found a couple of matches that he lost against Terran and against Protoss, but, well, he's just not on the same level as Lucky right now.
Yeah.
So the last game is exactly what we expected. Lucky taking down the first opponent, and now it's up to ZeNEX to find a player in the lineup that can actually counter Lucky. So I'm really excited to.
Do you think it's time to see ZeNEX stream?
I actually don't know.
Is it time to bring him out?
I doubt it. I think they will try to save Extreme in order to snipe the Terran player. That's what I would do. With his performance against Terran in last week's Clan War, where he did very, very well, I think that he is going to try, that they are trying to see him against a Protoss player. So, let's see.
Terran player, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but the other thing is I mean, they have... ZeNEX has Life, who is, of course, a Zerg player. I don't know if they want to send a ZVZ in to face Lucky. I don't know. We're about to find out who it is. And that is, I think it might be June. That is actually Yang Song-yi. Okay.
I would lie if I would say that that rings a bell.
I'm going to have to check to see if he has another ID, because we saw him in the lineup, but I didn't recognize his name then.
Yeah, same for me. I didn't see him. I didn't see him in the lineup, and to be honest, I can't find him in any lineup right now.
Yang Song-yi. All right. Well, I guess ZeNEX. I mean, they don't have a ton of players to go to on their bench, anyways. And you know, last time we saw ZeNEX Stream come out, we had not seen anything from him before, and he did very well. That's the thing with these no-name players is you don't know if they're no-name because they're bad or if they're just because they're new, and sometimes they're actually very, very good. I mean, when Dongregu first came onto the scene, it was in a team league, and he was a quote-unquote no-name. But I cannot find anything about Yang Song-yi.
Me neither.
So he is definitely a complete unknown. And I think we're going to go for a quick 5-minute break before we get to the next match. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more GSTL action.
In a section that was working class.